Okay, I have 7 o'clock. I would like to call this meeting to order, September 26, 2023. And we have the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we have to have some additions. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, you can see that we do have a quorum. Hopefully Mike will be here after his son's football game. It be late. Robert Dew is absent. We need to have a motion to excuse his vacation leave. Okay, it's moved and seconded to excuse Mr. Dew from his absence tonight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, second addition to the agenda under unfinished business B. It will be a letter of award for Well 7 rehabilitation. So any objections to those items, I guess?
No.
Okay, council, the approval of September 12th public hearing minutes. Public hearing minutes.
Make a motion to accept the September 12th, 2023 public hearing minutes.
I second it.
Okay, it's moved and seconded to approve public hearing minutes of September 12th, 2023. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of September 12th regular meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the September 12th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Moved and seconded to approve September 12th regular meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. First item with the unfinished business is well 6. So to recap a little bit, last meeting, council was presented a resolution proposal for well 6 price increase from the current $10 for the first 1,000 gallons and $1 for each additional 100 gallons thereafter. It was proposed to increase to $75 for the first 1,000 gallons and then $3 for each additional 100 gallons. Then Mr. Wold explained that after some consideration, he wanted to present proposed language of $50 for the first 1,000 gallons and then $2 for each additional 100 gallons. So that was the process of the proposal. Discussion followed with audience member Sean Bell asking to address the council to inquire the reasoning behind the price increases. You remember that. He is returning tonight to present more information to the council. So if you are ready, Mr. Bell is here. Okay.
This is Paula Bell's son, and it's concerning Paula Bell's farm that was in Franklin County.
So yeah, the first page that you will see in the paperclip here is it's just an example of the townland meter and water level report. This is what I would be actually going over. This one, for example, is the non-potable for well 6, January 2023. I just threw it in there so that you know what I'm looking at when I go through the spreadsheet. So if you go to the next first little guy here. And let me just start off by explaining the main reasoning that I'm going over this is, first of all, back around the fire in 2022, it came to my attention that there was just a lot of misinformation flying around about water use and being used for that and being hauled off and so water and whatnot. So I decided to gather all of this, all these well sheets and see exactly where that was headed. So to explain this spreadsheet, what you're looking at here, the first column will be by month. You have one for well 6 potable, well 6 non-potable, well 7, and well 8. Those are the 4 wells. There is also another one, 9, that's not in these at all. But what I've done is I've taken each one of these sheets. The next column you'll see it says start, and then there's the next column that says end. So I've taken the start value from each one of those sheets for each well, entered the start value into the end value, and then subtracted the two to get a total reading. That should be the third column. Being it wasn't complicated enough, each well has its own conversion factor, or how you want to say it, it's the actual meter read. So for instance, well 6 potable is just in gallons, just straight out gallons. Well 6 non-potable is in cubic feet. Well 7, as I understand, is acre foot, 1,000 of an acre foot. I had to make sure that was correct. And then well 8 is gallons times 1,000. So what all this means is I went through all these sheets. And this first one is just 2022. Put in the start, and got the total reading, and then multiplied it by what you see in the little yellow cube up there in the right hand corner. You end up with total gallons, so that we have a common ground that we have a discussion over, because it gets confusing fast when we have different units of measurement for these water bodies. So I'm not really going to dive into every single month here, because it gets kind of redundant very quickly. So what I'd like to ask you to do is just go to the last page of that first report. And what I found is that when I actually totaled all of the gallons used from all of those 4 wells, I split it into 2 categories and had one which was the town, so that's your drinking water. So I have annual 7, annual 8, and then annual 7 plus 8. That comes to a total of 41,452,362 gallons, according to my calculation. Then I have a separate total, which is the truck bill, the well 6. So I have annual 6 non-potable, annual 6 potable, and then the approximately, and the 6B is 58,000 gallons, for a total of 606,000 gallons from the Truckville area. So what does all that mean? Well, if you break it into percent share, which you will see in the next column over, from those two totals and whatnot, you will find that the town, or the ratepayers, or the water system, accounts for approximately 98.5% of all the water in the town, and so on and so forth. The truck bill only accounts for 1.44%, which was very surprising to me. It may be surprising to other people as well. I think there's kind of an issue of people see a truck, you fill up, it's a big tank, there's no real visual of, wow, that's a lot of water. But then you kind of don't realize how much will come out of a 3-quarter start line over a span of hours. Now keep in mind, this whole year, this 41 million, that is coming off of the pumps directly. So it doesn't really account for any leaks that may occur. This is not the back end of the situation. This is the front end. So this is everything with the well pump. This is not where it goes to. So I have no idea. I did ask one of them. According to her, she said there are 249 residential accounts, 24 business accounts, and then the big meter account for 7 school accounts, 1 sanitary account, 1 swimming pool account. I don't see the fire department in there, but I don't know if that's part of the business accounts or not. But what I was getting at there is that I don't know specifically how that is all blacked out. I could dig into that if anybody's interested. Right now, I'm just focused on the main distribution of where the water's going and how much is going to where. And in the year 2022, again, I will say it, 41.5 million gallons went to all of the town of Lynn as far as the residential goes, and only 606 went to the front. So that is a huge difference there. The last little bracket that I made was, if you added those two together, you have a total of 42 million gallons between the two. And then I also have the thought that the 6 potable is not on its own.
It's 7 and 8. It's not really well 6 at all.
Right.
That's
yeah.
a mistake that's been made at town hall.
So the amount that's actually metered there should actually be subtracted from the total 7, because it's kind of double metered if you follow. It's been pumped into this, and then it's also been metered. The total annual in 2022, what I figured from the well sheet is 41,900 gallons. Again, Truckville only accounting for 1.44% of that. That's in 2020. So I decided, well, I wonder if there was a difference in 2023. So you have the same thing. That's the next little spreadsheet that I got here. Obviously, we're not done with 2023. We still have September, October, November, December to fill out. But it looks like we're fairly right on schedule to consume about the same amount of water as 2022. Keep in mind there was a fire in 2022. And yeah, it's not that much different, even the truck bill. I think it's you'll find that the numbers actually went down. So we have 98% of the water being really expect that to change much, because as you get into the winter months, you know, you have water increases, and you're probably not going to be hauling it away. It's just thoughts that I have. Yeah. So there's a couple of different things that you can learn from these reports that I've kind of made up. One is that they're all different meters. They all have different units of measurement. The percentage difference is quite different between the users. I think to raise the price for less than 2% of the entire county water usage, I was still trying to make sure that this is not an emotional decision and it's based in facts. And I don't know, besides comparing to other towns, what facts were actually presented. I know that there was mention of the fire department needing water for different fires. We've been having a lot of fires, and as I stated, there was a fire in 2022. If we could go to that month, which was, I think I have in 2022, August. I have estimated fire dates there. This kind of confused me a little bit, but then I remembered, because the fire wasn't contained before it got to the town of Lynn, it actually ended up burning one of the telephone poles, or not telephone, electric poles down, rendering well 6 without power. So when you look at the well 6 potable, you see that it has quite a bit, like 40,000, 39,500 compared to the previous month. And that is why that number is so high. It's because they were pulling water out of the truck instead of the non-fossil. So that's kind of a consideration as well. I think. I think that if you were to consider the situation at that well with the power being needed to actually pump water out of it, then when fire is concerned, it may be important to consider either a reservoir or a generator. That would be my first thought. The second thing that I thought of when it came to fire is that there are 66, I had to ask, there are 66 fire hydrants in town, and not one of them is connected to us. And that is because there is no reservoir there. So all of the fire hydrants, which again, not knocking firemen or anything of the sort, needs to be there. It's a sensitive issue. But when it comes to well safe non-potable being used for fire, I think the general consensus is that it's too slow. Not sure. If I had to guess, I think there was actually a fire at the Sandville this last week after the council meeting. And I believe they filled up out there by the gas pump. Is that true?
We fill up both places. It just depends, but there we were because if I remember right, well 6 wasn't working at that time. Something was what somebody said, so we just went ahead.
Right.
When we got back, we weren't going there and filling up and going back to the fire, but we just, obviously fill up the trucks before we park them.
Right.
By topping them off. So.
Well, at that time, well 6 was working, it's just faster. As you came in town to fill up there.
Right.
Right. Again, just information. I'm not presenting one way or the other. I just think that it's a lot of information to think about as far as if you're going to raise the price, what are you going to do with the money after you want to raise it? Is there any consideration as far as upgrades to well 6, like a reservoir generator in case there was, or even a generator hookup, so that you can pull the trailer, set up the generator in the event of a fire, and they get water out of it? Just curious. One of the other concerns, I believe that was raised, was the use of non-potable for flush and sewer systems, different items like that around town. I also requested to Barbara, and we couldn't actually find where the last time that was non-potable was purchased through town land. So I don't have any information to present on that front. I forget if there was any other concerns raised with the non-potable in general. But so the very last page that I threw in there, just as a thought process, is the electric for well 6 specifically. I requested all of the adjusted bills for 2022, and probably related to that 2022. So this would correlate with the spreadsheet that I made for the water usage in 2022. Again, I'm not going to really go into the value that much because I don't really want to waste your time with that, but the total amount used for well 6 over a year, 2022, was approximately $2,000. And I can't think of any other overhead that well 6 has compared to the residential. So like in your residential, all you have started the house, you've got the meter, you've got the pipes, you've got the valves. From the valves, you go different style valves, you can go to the reservoir itself, the reservoir monitoring systems, the meters, the different pumps. Can't think of anything else. That's a lot of overhead, whereas in well 6, you only just have the pump. And then, of course, the bill included a yard light for that area. That will cover both the truck bill. So, I don't really see where the overhead has increased, the expenses have increased to such an extent to where you need to increase the price point that much, 500%. If there is, I would like to know. I'm sure I'm probably missing something here. But again, just trying to start the thought process and see what you guys think. I didn't really hear anything else other than the comparison between them as far as reasoning forward, which my thoughts on that are the towns exactly the same? Like, for instance, I don't know when the last time we actually did any service well 6. I don't know when, for instance, Washington or Lotus was brought up in the example. I don't know when they last did any service with their pump. What they have into operated those facilities. I know that Washington has a key fob set up as far as they don't have the honor system like we do here. As far as just writing down the amount of gallons that you use, filling out, and then that's how you get billed. So I don't know what that system costs. It obviously costs more than what we have, so they would obviously charge more. I don't know if that's a conversation that you're interested in or not. If you were to completely shut down well 6, I kind of figured out between the yard light and the low use months, that's that last column on that page, you would still be spending approximately $1,300 just in running a heater in the well house and the yard light. So, yeah, I don't quite see where the overhead has increased to that extent, or you actually increase the price. But I could be wrong.
The money's gonna come back to the town, the revenue from all six. It'll come back to town and put it in the water fund and disperse it. And I like what you did mention about possibly eventually getting like a backup generator or something if we need to. That could all eventually go towards something like that, which obviously would come later on down the road. But a big part of increasing the rates, besides the fact that we're just giving the water away right now anyway, would be get more revenue to come back in town. I mean, I can get why somebody like you doesn't want the water rates to go up, because you use it.
Right.
I mean, I don't want my water rates going up either, but they go up over here, but, you know, we use it. So it's kind of like, you know, that's the way I personally look at it anyway.
Well,
It's not just obviously my decision, and it's not like me going out and being like, that's not what it's all about. The town obviously needs to raise the rates. It's something besides just giving it away. It's been going forever, so
right. You stay
that's what I think of it.
That's a good point that you make concerning that. It's not exactly fair to either side if we make a comparison between the well usage for the town and then the other usage for the non-potable water. They're two separate entities and they should be regulated differently. Okay. The costs are certainly a factor, but they're not the only consideration. We as a town council must listen to all of the residents and what they have to say, and then be guided accordingly. I thank you for presenting all of these facts. It's well thought out, and to your point, I would see a certain part of it. Okay, but like I stated previously, that's not the only consideration. We have a whole town of 500 and some odd residents that we answer to as well. And so, in consideration of that, the other towns and what they sell their water for is taken into consideration. Okay. Denise?
I wanted to, you're probably not aware, but our CAC came here on May 27th. They're a professional company, and they did an audit on our water systems, and we've been going in the hole for the last 3 years severely. So we have to raise rates to our townspeople and to the farmers that use bulk water. It has to be done. And they were saying approximately $3 for each of us per month has to go up for the minimum, and they took it down from 14 feet to 12. That's what's happening to us as residents. And then on top of that, there's a loan they just took out for well 7, and that's $3.66 per person. And so that's $6.66 is what we're being told just to make ends meet. And so that's why we have to raise the rates, and none of us like it. And for instance, I wanted to also point out, what's Bev's last name, Anna? Lomax. She's a single woman with no yard whatsoever, and so she uses very little water. I'm a single person, but I have a big yard. And then there's people who have 10 kids who use a lot more water. We all have the 1,200 minimum. So Bev is paying for the 1,200 minimum, if she only uses 500, and that's not exactly fair either. So I think for the bulk water guys to have to pay a little bit more brings them closer to what we're paying. Because I mean, I don't know how many cubic feet you guys usually get.
Annually?
Yeah,
If I had to
so you
estimate,
had 5,000, you get 5,000, right, most of the time?
if we run 2 trucks. But no, one truck is 1850, the other one's 30.
And that's a week, or I don't
No,
know.
not at all. No, we only get water when we actually need it. But, and I understand what you're saying. The problem that I have is that when we say water, it gets lumped in to one category, which is all water. So what you're saying is like the drinkable water. And my concern is like the non-drinkable water.
But I don't think, see, the auditor, it's a water fund, so we have to do it all the same. We can't separate
So
them.
what you're saying is that they're lumping all water in together.
Yes,
as-
they
as
are.
one category.
Yes,
Okay.
and
well,
they have to. We couldn't, well, I don't know if you can create a second water fund for well 6 or not. I don't know if you can do that. I'm done.
Thank you. Rose?
Yeah, I think Sean's idea of a generator is a good idea too, for emergencies purposes. But when I was on the council, we also discussed putting in a meter onto that well instead of having it on the water system. Because it's not very many people, but I know that there's people that are using that well and not paying. Because they don't like their, like pay on what they pay. So they don't even write down what they're taking. So that would be another thing to consider if you're gonna raise the rate.
Right, the extra funding could go into, say, putting a water meter in or the generator and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So to that point, in 2022, I also requested what was actually sold and Barbara sold and whatnot. And she was approximately 5,000 gallons off of what I came up with as the total. So that means one of two things. Either the meter is slightly off or somebody or stole it. Right? 5,000 gallons. That was in an entire year's worth of use, which accounted for approximately. I think it was 500. And a total of 547,000 gallons. 5,000 gallons. What is that? 1%? Yeah. My whole thing is, and I understand where you're coming from as far as RCAC and the funding and whatnot, is to have these 2 different categories of water. There's non-drinkable and drinkable. And I even asked
Joe, you said?
and he said there is absolutely no correlation between, the levels in well 6, 7, I think. And so my main concern coming here is to just illustrate the differences between the 3 and to, I don't know, I guess smooth out any sort of misinformation that's being thrown out there. It's like, oh man, we're losing all water, we're selling all water. I'm not going to say it's nothing. I'm not going to say it's a lot.
The bottom line in this whole issue is that it's all about the rates going up. That's where, well, 6, that's what brought up is us increasing the rates.
And that's being
And I mean, you did awesome as far as getting all this information and stuff. But the bottom line is about the rates going up. You know what I'm saying?
okay. So it's only based on the fact that it's policy.
Huh? I'm not saying it's policy, but we,
I mean,
as a
it's,
town, need to increase the rates, and I get why you're arguing with it, like I said a minute ago. I mean, none of us like the fact that the rates are going up, but electricity goes up every 6 months, it seems like everything does. And how often does the non-potable water of well 6 actually gone up? And I mean,
Well, currently, it actually costs.
look at, I guess when I say gone up, look at how much it's actually gone up when it has increased in the last few years.
Correct. But
There's a reason everybody wants to get their water here. It's because it's pretty much free.
it costs more than the rate there water per gallon. I don't know.
Anyways, I'm not here to argue with you, man. I'm just throwing it out.
And I'm not as well, I'm just presenting the fact. And the fact is, it's
I know, and I appreciate it.
cost per gallon is more. So it already is more. Well,
And from last meeting, if I remember right, Sean was trying to equate what was out there on the table was potable versus non-potable. And your non-potable was valued more than your potable.
which is confusing,
Yeah,
because one, you can't drink, the other one you can't. You would think that the values would be better,
the other way around.
but they're not. And
I don't have all the answers.
the theory of people coming from far away at $6 diesel to fill up with cheap water, I don't know. For me, that just doesn't fly. We are using it at a farm. Yeah.
In flood,
Past the water.
yeah, in another county,
Really.
which is something that council had voted not to allow.
Well, I'm also but
But the manager's trying to different.
Okay, we're not gonna argue back and forth.
But it reaches nepotism, Paula.
No,
It does
I
too.
kept my mouth shut. Rose?
But if council consider not only the rates that they're paying back, also figuring out how much is the cost of the generator for that. And use that as figuring out the price go down.
and that's all I'm saying. Is that all I hear is the comparison of towns as far as that's why the rates are going up. I haven't been arguing the fact that the rates shouldn't go up. I'm just mainly concerned with how you got it. It's almost, because you started out high and then you whipple wobbled and went low and then.
You know, if they had gone up like they probably should have been over the years, we probably wouldn't be having this discussion right now.
But that's just like what the county did with us with the property tax. Oh, well, for so many years, we didn't charge you what we should have charged you with the property tax. So here you go, here's one lump sum. My property tax went up 215%. And that's what you're doing too.
I'm well aware of what property tax is.
Yeah. Okay.
If I may, we did contact Town of Washtuckna about their bulk water, and their ordinance states that purchasers of bulk town water will be charged $45 for the first 1,000 gallons purchased in the month, and $8 for each additional 1,000 gallons in that month. Okay, so if I understood the clerk correctly, it was, if I have a truck that's 250 gallons, okay, I got $45 and I keep filling up until I get to that 1,000 limit. Then after that, then I get charged the $8 for each after that. But that was from Washtuckna. And then she came back and it was like afterthought, and then you ask a question, then afterthought, and you ask a question. And she, we asked about fire department. I don't know what the fire department uses in these totals, since they are not billed for the water per contract of fire services. since we have gone from the honor system to the fob, key fob, or meter, whatever it is, we don't have a lot of sales. So they're, once they did their accounting, you know, put in their card or whatever it was,
Yeah, I don't know.
then their system, or then their water sales went down. And so that got me to thinking, wondering, within my little brain, okay, what are you gonna do if you've got your water rates raised and the sales go down? That didn't really make sense to my head of you're after money coming into the town,
Right.
but it's not gonna come into town because the truck fill is not going to be there. If you have, the process of everything, we have to sell water in order to keep our water rights intact. So if you know, you think about it, you come around more towns, more processes. Every little town's got their own way of doing things, right, Mike?
Mhm.
That's what you found out.
Oh, yeah.
So I just took Washington. But we do have to keep that in mind of if we don't sell the water in our wells, then we don't have the, I don't know. Yeah, we lose the rights, thank you for that. We have a hand up that I see flopping. Denise,
Most town rate, in fact, every town bases their rates on the loans that they have. So it's fine to compare us to Ritzville and Connell and Washtuckna, but we don't know how many water loans they have outstanding. If we don't have as many loans, we wouldn't have to charge as much water.
we have been paying off some of those loans, as you know. And as far as RCAC goes, we have yet to start in on the water audit. So I don't know.
Well, on May 27th, she
Yes,
said
I
she
know, you were
audited
there,
the
and
3 years.
I'm just saying, we are yet to go into RCAC's water audit.
What do you mean you are yet to go
We-
into it?
We have asked them to help us do that water study.
So the
That's what I'm-
process hasn't started.
So the process hasn't started. So.
Well, that's not what she
yes,
presented on May 27th. It's on
And
YouTube.
she
It's
corrected
on
you.
YouTube.
Yes, I know.
So she
so
hasn't corrected it
Is
publicly.
their
but-
council got anything else for Sean?
No.
Okay,
guess-
Laura?
I was just thinking about you saying about we need to sell the water, but as Sean stated, it's only 1.4% going over well six. It's 1%.
And that's his point.
So it does, I don't think it will affect, but we're not selling it. Because,
Okay, good.
No matter what the price is that what you're getting at?
right,
Okay, so we're, go ahead.
I'm sure at some point, you're gonna have an intersection of the graph where as you raise rates, you might lose sales, but you're still gonna make the same money, basically. It's always a possibility. I can't predict the future. I'm not gonna say that if the price raises, we're gonna lose customers. You might not.
Right, we could lose one customer, we could lose 20, for example.
Right.
We don't know.
Right.
Only one way we're gonna find out.
So what RCW says we would lose our water rights if we didn't sell it?
Yeah.
What RCW says
I'm not
that?
quite sure, Denise, but I will look it up for you.
Thank you, I appreciate
I
that.
will do that.
You sell it every month to the residents, so I don't see how not selling it would ever be an
Out
issue.
of that well.
Out of well
that well is
6?
what I'm saying.
So what was the loan that was on well 6? We took out a loan in 2014
I'll
to
have
bring
to
it
look that up.
online.
I will have to look that up.
So it's not one that's been paid off?
I'm not real sure at this moment because I don't have the information with me.
So you'll
Thank
have
you.
that for me when?
I don't know when I'll have it.
Okay.
We're done. Thank
You're
you.
not in the,
Okay, so council, do you have anything, other questions or whatever? Shake your head, thank you.
I don't.
Okay, I'm sorry I missed last meeting. Where are we on the, ordinance?
It was presented in written form with the $70, right? Or 75.
75.
75 for the first 1,000 gallons. And $3 for the next 100 gallons thereafter. Correct? Yes.
Okay,
And then Mike,
And then,
75 and 3.
yeah, it was 75 and 3, and then we decided that 75
so in other words,
was a little crazy.
it was
Per
tabled
se,
at that
and
point
then
in
it was
time
dropped
because
to-
we did,
And it was dropped to 50 and 2, and that's pretty much where we're at right now. We didn't,
There was no,
yeah, there was no decision made on it or whatever, and
so in other words, we're still basically in discussion stage
yes,
with the not potable water.
yes.
Okay, I think that with the date of inauguration of whatever we propose being 1 January 2024, that we still have some time in our meetings to deliberate further. Mr. Bell, I thank you very much for all of your information. I appreciate the time and effort that you took in doing so.
Absolutely, and if you need any, or think of anything, I would like to actually be included in the conversation. If that's possible.
Okay, one small request that I would like to make
Yeah.
is if there are any other bulk users, if you would have them come to the meeting as well and perhaps present more views. We are not immune to, hearing all sides and other sides of that.
Right. I actually received a letter of the meeting that it was happening, so that's why I showed up. I assume the rest of the bulk users did as well. I'm not sure. I can't
Okay.
confirm that. But
Yeah, like I say, it's not a done deal. We're still in the process, so I'd appreciate you, if there are any other bulk users that would be interested, so that we could hear their concerns as well.
absolutely. Yeah,
I,
I think that's a good idea.
all right, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Council, on your agenda, the addition of B, letter of award. Okay, this is from Centurywest, Dan Remmick. And it's in reference to recommendation of award well number 7 rehabilitation project. Dear Mayor Bell and Town Council, on Friday, September 22nd, bids were opened for the Town of Lynn well number 7 rehabilitation project. 2 bids were received. Overall, the bids were competitive. The contractors submitting bids, and their bid totals are as follows. Snyder Water Systems, total bid was $298,987.20. Carpenter Drilling LLC was $338,742. No cents. The engineer's estimate is $281,556. No mathematical errors were found in the bids. A copy of the bid results is attached for your review, and that's on the back side. Okay. Centurywest Engineering has evaluated the bids and determined that Snyder Water Services of St. Paul, Oregon is the lowest responsive bidder. The low bid was properly signed and executed and included the wage law compliance certification. A check of the Washington State L&I contractor database shows that Snyder Equipment Incorporated, DBA Snyder Water Services, is a licensed contractor and is eligible to perform work on public waters or public works projects. The low bid amount of $298,987.20 is about 6% over the engineer's estimate of $281,556 and within the construction budget of $300,000. Based upon our review of the documents provided with the low bid and the funding available, we recommend that the town award a contract for bid schedules A and B to Snyder Water Services for the total bid amount of $298,987.20. So, council, motion is needed to do this letter of award for the Well 7 rehabilitation project to Snyder Water Services.
Make a motion to award the letter.
I second the motion.
Okay. It's moved and seconded to award a contract for bid schedules A and B to Snyder Water Services, the lowest bidder, yeah, in the amount of $298,987.20. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Under new business, mayor's report, council, today, a citizen came into the office with a question about variances, and out of the zoning ordinance variances, the town council may authorize variances from the requirements of this ordinance when it can be shown that owing to special and unusual circumstances related to a specific piece of property, the literal interpretation of this ordinance would cause an undue or unnecessary hardship, except that no variance shall be granted to allow the use of property for purposes specifically prohibited within the zone in which the purpose use would be located. In granting a variance, the town council may attach conditions which it finds necessary to protect the best interest of the surrounding property or neighborhood and to otherwise achieve the purpose of this ordinance. So last meeting, when you had the variance hearing, public hearing, that is why the fee schedule in the zoning ordinance says variance is a fee of $50. So that was the question, is what's the variance fee? And there it is, it's out of your zoning ordinance. The fence was wanting to be here, the zoning ordinance was here, so that's why we granted that extra 6 inches there for that fencing. Okay, so council, we'll go to the finance committee report.
Myra, did you find anything? Okay, I make a motion that we pay the warrant check register dated 8/22/2023 to 9/11/2023 in the amount of $85,432.38. Yeah, I'm sorry, wrong one, I beg your pardon. All right, let me retract. Make a motion that we pay the warrant check register dated 9/12/2023 to 9/25/2023 in the amount of $19,400.23. Agree to that one?
Yeah, that looks a little better.
Okay,
Okay,
I apologize.
that's all right. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Motion's been made to pay the warrant register dated 9/12 to 9/25 of 2023. In the dollar amount of $19,423.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, let's try this again. Outstanding invoices. The invoice date from 8/25/2023 to 9/25/2023 in the amount of $108,730.91.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's moved and seconded to pay the outstanding invoices dating 8/25/2023 to 9/25/2023 in the dollar amount of $108,713.91. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Mike, you're up first.
I have some stuff wrote down, I don't have it with me, so I'm not.
Okay, all right. Myra?
Good.
Ms. Laura?
I got nothing.
Nothing? Mr. Dorset?
Yes, I have a few items. I'd like to remind our council members that your oath of office requires you to uphold ordinances and resolutions without selectivity. Okay, number two, we have another citizen referral to the auditor's office, and by my calculations, we have paid over $4,000 for citizen referrals. This is money that is not in the accounts, but each one of us, through our paying our bills, pay some portion of this. So, since there has never been anything come out of these citizen referrals, I'd appreciate those that are making citizens referrals, unless they have something that they find, refrain from continuing to do so. Third item on the agenda. The football field was in deplorable condition. But at the same time, when the meeting of all the classified and other staff was held at the then middle school, the grass was luxuriant and full and being mowed on a regular basis. Now, my question is, if you can do that with the middle school itself, why not take some of that water and place it onto the football field so that we don't have to truck our football players to Ritzville? And I'm done. You're welcome.
All right, citizens, public comment. First one is non-agenda item for discussion. Denise Sneed.
Well, I'm commenting, I have 4 things to comment on. The code clearly states that a chain link fence can be 48 inches and all other fences are 36 inches. So what was the purpose of the public hearing and all that rigmarole for Joy? You said because she had a 48-inch chain link fence? I think that she should get her money back because the code already says that and it didn't need to be brought to council. Perhaps the clear view part needed to be, but that wasn't even taken care of correctly. Do you know what my corner lot looks like by the stop sign, Paula? Do you know what my corner lot looks like by the stop sign? I have a bench angled across the corner and low growing green shrubs. When you put up a fence at a corner like that, you're supposed to angle it just like my bench so the point is completely clear. You don't put a fence clear out to the point. So that's just you misinterpreting everything again. So on May 27th, council asked you to voted to have you address the USDA and get us apply for the grant money. Why did you not apply for the grant money? On May 27th, they voted at the end of the meeting. Why are you looking at someone else?
Because isn't that what you and Robert?
That happened in August after I pushed it. You were told to do it on May 27th. Why did you not call USDA? You and Dan Remmick did not bother to call.
Dan Remmick was already in.
No, he was
Okay,
not.
What is your next question?
I called.
Yes, we all know. What
So
is your
you
next
are
question?
not going to tell us why you did not do what council said.
It's all under Dan Remmick because he is the one that is supposed to do the conversations with the agencies. And I leave that up to him.
Did you tell Dan to do it?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Oh, well.
Well,
that is your-
then we need to change from Centurywest to a company that will do what they're told by the mayor and council. The $48,000 design fee that you're giving to Centurywest, where is that coming from? That's not in the budget. Where is it coming from?
I will have to get back with you on that. I would imagine that it's under engineering.
I asked you that months ago. So we'll see. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No questions
Amy
answered.
Allen, you have ordinance letter.
So I got an ordinance letter, and I just have to say, I am very thankful that you said what you had to say about the council member and the whole law. Because my number one question is, are you guys aware when Henry writes a letter, who gets sent out and what the letter is about? Council?
Yes, we
You
are.
guys are all aware of it. With that being said, are you aware of the ordinance 21-03?
Yeah, ask Mike and Laura if they need to
I'm
go.
really not understanding why us as residents are being held accountable for the city ordinances, but our city council people can sit here and do whatever, let alone our city workers. I got a letter from my kids riding their four-wheeler to and from on the city streets, or maybe even in the alleys, not causing any harm, doing any damage, and if they did, they would probably take a rake and go and rake up the gravel for Pete's sake. They're not destroying other people's properties by any means. They're going to and from with a legal licensed four-wheeler,
Okay,
lights and all, and my son is licensed. There's a child on the streets going up and down Bird on a riding lawnmower with a gorilla cart or wagon behind it full of kids. How safe is that? We literally watched him jump off the four-wheeler while he was still in drive and watched it go down the street with a cart full of kids. Now tell me how unsafe that is.
did you report it?
I did, and when I did, I got backlash because my husband took pictures. And I still never had got a reply. So I'm telling you now, Mr. Henry, I will not comply to your letter unless the whole town, including the city members, are all held accountable in the same exact manner I am being held accountable. That's where I stand. We don't play favoritism. We should not play favoritism in the town of Lynn. It's getting a little out of control. This letter was totally unacceptable.
No,
We
that
will
letter,
take fault. We will take fault for your ordinance. I get that. But if you're gonna hold me accountable for this, then you should hold everybody else accountable that's riding around in town.
If you see
Not
them,
safe, not.
if they're
We
seen,
recorded it, Henry. We never got a phone call back from you. That was due to Barbara. Barbara asked if Henry would like to call Chris. I was right there on speakerphone. Chris never got a phone call from me.
Chris said not to call back 3 times.
3 separate times.
And he was on speakerphone with Paula. And Paula heard Chris say, don't have Henry call me back. 3 times.
Yes. Yes, yes. And Amy, this right here is for the safety of all, because
Okay, safety of all, so why are you directing that towards me?
this is just you, okay? This is just your family. I'm not sending a letter from Mike, for Mike, to you. This is your letter. No helmet. If that piece of equipment is street legal, then why are you going up and down the alleys? And why aren't you on the highway with it? No helmet, no stopping at stop signs. That's what gets reported, okay? So I don't want to have children have to have an accident.
There you go. You said it yourself. So why don't you direct it towards other people and not just me?
How do you know other people weren't directed or got the same letter?
All I'm saying, bottom line is, if you're gonna hold me as a citizen of Lynn accountable,
And
hold
yes.
your council members and everybody else. Because it's ridiculous. I will not comply, period.
It's a courtesy letter.
It wasn't a courtesy letter. I got so much backlash about it.
It's a courtesy letter.
Okay, well then talk to your city worker too.
It's a
It's
courtesy
ridiculous.
letter.
Yeah, well, I won't comply. My kids.
Amy, thank you. The last person that's on the sheet is Richard Baldwin, non-agenda sewer lines. Where'd you go?
It was brought up a while back that they needed to be cleaned out. I was wondering when that's going to occur.
When we have a chance to get it.
So otherwise, it's gonna back up into people's houses. And then we're
No,
responsible for a big bill.
no, Richard. Thank you for your concern.
It's happened before, it's back up into people's houses because the town hasn't taken care of it.
They haven't been
We
done in
will
3
have-
years. I agree with you, Richard. They haven't been done in 3 years.
It's been
More
8 years since
excuses.
it was done last time.
No,
More
okay.
excuses.
Richard, is your sewer backing up?
No, I'm just concerned about
Okay,
all the other.
I
residents.
need to know whose sewer really is backing up so that that can be addressed, okay? I would appreciate
Why
it.
you're not doing the meeting.
Tammy's is backing up.
No, Tammy doesn't have it fixed for hers. So that is the end of the list.
Make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All adjourned.
Just starting to have fun.